As the title of this says here for my YouTube, I would like to talk about my Achilles rupture and maybe pass on some tips for people that have suffered it and maybe help them with the process and all the learning curves that I have through it. I'll give you a bit of background. This rupture seems to be the most challenging injury for me so far. And I'm a professional wrestler. I wrestled for 22 years internationally around the world: England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Puerto Rico, Korea. So I've been a professional athlete my whole life. And I've broken, separated, dislocated many things over the years. But this injury here seems to be one that's going to challenge me the most. And the fact that I'm 47 years old now is going to make it even more challenging for my body to recover from. So, to tell you how I first ruptured it, I was playing some pickup basketball for the first time in 20 some years. And, I've always been athletic. I train, I go to the gym every day, obviously, lift weights, do some athletic drills, but nothing like basketball wise with that amount of jumping. And the last time I played basketball, I was probably 20 years old, maybe 230 pounds, something like that. And currently I'm at 270 pounds. So, the weight difference put an added strain on my tendon. So, and just not loading the tendon for a period the same way I would in basketball is probably what led to the cause. I've never had Achilles pain since I was probably 18 years old. But some advice that I'd like to tell people is that when you first get diagnosed with your Achilles rupture, and that's the main thing, is to get the diagnosis done early, that go to the emergency room and they'll perform something called a Thompson test. And it's where they squeeze both sides of the calf to see if the foot actually moves around. If it doesn't move, that means you have a complete rupture. And when that happens, they have to put your foot into plantar flexion. So that's with the toe pointing down, and then they have to cast it. And this has to be done, apparently, from what I've researched, in the first 48 to 72 hours. So make sure that when you suspect that you go and get it checked, and you don't just leave it and say, oh, it's just a sprained ankle. Because originally when it happened to me, I wasn't doing anything really active. I just took a step, didn't jump, but just crouched to take a step to play defense, and it popped. And I knew exactly. I heard the pop. I thought somebody had landed on me. I turned around to see if somebody had jumped and landed on the back of my heel, but it felt kind of like somebody either jumped on me or I got hit with a bat right in the back of the Achilles. And I instantly lost use of my foot. I kind of hobbled off to the sideline and sat down for a while. But I knew right away. And one of the guys I was playing with, he had some history with this, and they did the Thompson test on me there. They said, your Achilles, is probably ruptured. So I packed it in ice, immediately came home. I actually got showered first, and probably shouldn't have done that, but I got showered, went into the emergency room. They said there was going to be an 11-hour wait. So what I did is I came home, but I kept my foot kind of based down in plantar flexion. And I came back the next day. Went back the next day. Dr. Call, who was great in the emergency room here at the QEH, he realized it really quick. And after some x-rays, ultrasound, just to confirm what he had already thought, he casted my foot down in plantar flexion, and then made an appointment for the orthopedic surgeon. So a week later, I guess it would be, I went into the surgeon and Dr. Witherspoon, and he was great. He said, we're going to go non-surgical route. He said, he gave me the numbers, which ones would, re-rupture rates were basically the same, no risk of infection, all these things. And I'll tell you, it played with my mind for a while. I really wasn't sure. I've had a friend of mine who fights in the UFC who had ruptured his Achilles, and he had surgery So in my mind, I was wondering, should I get surgery? Is this going to make it stronger? Is this going to be a better quality of life for me, somebody who is active? Should this be the way to go? And I was really kind of talking to the doctor about, I think I want surgery, but he reconfirmed with me that non-surgery is, just as good, less risk of infection, and the protocol for coming back recovery is almost the same. The re-rupture rate is the same. It's just following the rehab, and the protocol is what, being diligent with it is what makes the difference on your recovery, and not whether it's surgery or non-surgery so much. So we went with that, and the first 2 weeks is brutal. It just sucks. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. You need to stay so still so that the tendon comes up and touches. When you put your foot in plantar flexion down, that brings the Achilles up to the point in the calf where the tendon can meet. And how it was explained to me was that this forms like a hematoma, and it bruises, and the bruising in this turns into scar tissue, and then the scar tissue and the tendon kind of mend and heal here, and then eventually the scar tissue and the tendon combine together. That strengthens the tendon, and you eventually work back from there. So, but when it initially happened, I thought, this isn't sore at all. I had heard so much that this is the worst injury ever, but there was no a lot of pain. I just had no ability to weight bear on that foot very much. It was just like it went to rubber. And so I thought, well, this can't be that bad. But then it kind of started sinking in when the ultrasound tech told me, oh, it's gone. So we got put in the first 2 weeks. The first week I was in the cast, went to see Dr. Witherspoon. He immediately transferred me to this boot. So I'm on this air cast, and there's wedges underneath that keep your foot in plantar flexion so that the tendon will get a chance to heal and it stays there. And then you can pump up to secure around your foot some airbags that will hold it in place. And that's the key thing for the first 2 weeks, is to make sure that doesn't move, so the tendon really gets a chance to set and heal. One of the first things that I was told, 4 years ago I was at a celebrity golf tournament, and we were back in the celebrity area, and I was talking with Donovan Bailey, the Canadian sprinter, the gold medalist for Canada, and he was there, and he had just recently ruptured his Achilles, and he was wearing this device. It's called the eye walk, and it's like, when you put it on, it's like a pirate's leg. But he said this was a game changer. So as soon as I knew that it was ruptured, it was the first thing I ordered. My wife went out and found one for me, and I was lucky it was the last one on Prince Edward Island, where I'm from. And she got it for me, and it's a game changer. If you have the old crutches and you're trying to hobble around, you can't hold things with your hands. You can't food, drinks, anything like that. And I think that your lower back will stiffen up too when you're always locking it and holding it from when you're moving. But with the eye walk on, you can walk freely, and your SI joints can move around, and you don't get as much lower back stiffness. And you can actually have the freedom to take food with you or drinks, and you're going to be sitting around doing a lot of nothing for the first 2 weeks for sure. So that the eye walk is a game changer. The other thing you'll need right away, and as soon as you get diagnosed, order these things. Get your eye walk if you can. You want to get a walker, a 2-wheeled walker, for whenever you get to week 3, and start putting weight on. But you want, the first thing is a tub chair. A tub chair. Most ruptures apparently occur people getting in and out of the tub. Re-ruptures after the initial rupture. So get yourself a chair. Like, showering's tough the first couple of weeks, getting in and out of the tub, but a shower chair is an absolute essential. The other thing that I would recommend, I made the mistake that I didn't order it right away, is a level up shoe, so that when you have the boot on and it does become time to start walking. Right now I'm on week 3.5, and I'm putting the 25% pressure on my boot. But the walk is extremely awkward because the leg with the boot on it is probably this much higher, so I can't take a normal stride, and I can't put the 25% weight down with enough confidence to put it down flat because my other foot is so much lower. So those are the things that I would order right away if I was you. I would get the iWalk, I would get the shower chair, the level up shoe, and I would get a walker. Get those things right away. Like, don't hesitate and wait. I made that mistake with the level up shoe, and now I'm waiting for it to order. So I think that's going to slow down my progress in walking again. So try to order these things as soon as you find out that it's confirmed that you have the rupture. You're going to have a lot of time to sit around. So the other thing that I did is I started taking collagen supplements as well. So you just put collagen in your water, and I have it in my water all the time now. And you want collagen is what like helps repair and build up tendons. Whether it works or not, I don't know, but I'm not going to take the chance. I've read things that says you need collagen for the repair of tendons, so I'm going to take it anyway. It doesn't taste any differently, and makes me drink more water, and more water is always a good thing when you're dealing with muscles and tendons in the body. So that's kind of what happened with me, and I'd like to update everybody on my recovery as it goes along. The first 2 weeks was very depressing, for somebody who's as athletic as I am and somebody who's on the go as much as I am, to be told that 6 months before you're really kind of walking again back to doing somewhat normal, and that the re-rupture rate is really high in that first 6 months, that's kind of a little bit scary to me, because I don't want to start over again and have to come back to being on bed rest for 2 weeks again. The first 2 weeks were terrible, both physically and mentally. So I don't want to go through that again. And I realize that it takes up to a year to 18 months for full recovery for most people, and that's been kind of weighing on my mind as well. So obviously, it looks like, well, because of my age as well, 47 tendons don't repair as healthy as they do, a 20-year-old or whatever, but it looks like my career is going to change from pro wrestling now into the promoting side of pro wrestling, and there'll be no more basketball. The thought of this ever happening again or happening to the other foot is just devastating. So there'll be no more basketball. I think we'll be moving on to golf and just working out in the gym, which is a normal part of my routine at all. But I'll update everybody on my progress. I have another consultation with Dr. Witherspoon in a couple of weeks, and right now we're just working on range of motion out of the boot. So my foot's going to come down, and I'm going to be pushing down. No upward movement whatsoever, nothing past neutral to take that tendon away from where it's binding up. Everything is just movement down and some side to side movements as well. So that's what we're doing right now. Foot on the floor with a little bit of flat like this, and then calf raise. So just doing that, which is extremely difficult right now. Like, I had no idea it would be this hard. Again, this is a very mentally challenging injury, and I've had a lot in the years. I tore my quad, I've fractured my neck, I've had fractured my skull, my ears have been torn off, I've dislocated my hips, broken ribs, broken sternum, broken collarbone, separated, dislocated shoulders, fingers, you name it. This finger here is actually dislocated, and tendons are torn in it right now from the actual night when I fell with my Achilles. So those things, there was never any doubt at all that I was going to recover. This one here has me kind of worried. I've spoken with a lot of people and talking to guys like Jason Sago who have made a return to fighting after their tear, and talking with other people that have had these. They've recovered, but they've said that it's taken the full year to both the guarding that you do mentally and everything to kind of get back with that. But you can follow me for updates as I go through this recovery, and I'll keep you up to date. And any secrets that I come along the way, I'll be glad to share. And in the comments below, if you have any to help me, please do. You know, it'll be a huge help to both me and others that are going through this non-surgical route for an Achilles rupture. Again, just to reiterate what we said earlier, the first thing you should do: iWalk, walker, and shower chair, and order your level up shoe for lift for your other shoe for when you can start walking again, because it will come sooner than I thought. I was really worried, but now I'm starting to put more pressure on my foot, but I can't progress because I don't have that level up to do it comfortably yet. So thanks for everybody for tuning in, and I'll try to update this every 2 weeks as I meet with my my physiotherapist and with my with the surgeon as well that's looking after my recovery, Dr. Witherspoon. Thanks everyone. Take care and see you soon.